Hi everyone, welcome back to the Reclaimed Ranch. Today I had received my July Makers box from Sonnet's Garden Blooms, and I wanted to go through that with you and share that with you with the products and the projects that I did. So inside these maker boxes you'll find two decoupage papers from Recycled Papers, rice papers from Connie Hammer with the Painted Photographer, and you'll get two fusion paints and two DIY paints, as well as one of the Sweet Pickins milk paint. So this month we have from Royce, this is called Tapestry. It's a beautiful muted color rice or decoupage paper, and it's just so pretty. It's got some words on it, it's got a crown there, and it's just really, really pretty for pretty much any kind of background images that you want to do. And then next up, she has a clock face, or it's called Clock Faces. And this one's super cool. This one has all kinds of different clocks. So you can do several different projects with this, or you can do, it all on one sheet if you want. But I chose to kind of cut it up and do a couple different projects with it. So I still have a fair amount that I could do on a big project, but I just kind of wanted to heighten the little project that I had, and you'll see later what I'm talking about. But look at all these faces. They're so cool. Some of them look really, really old. Like I like the one right there on the left with the golden hands. I think that's so cool. Very pretty. And of course in the background she's got her like typesetting stuff and ephemera, like just different things in the background. It's hard to see, but the paper is not plain at all. There's always something in the background, so I love that. And then Connie from the Painted Photographer has two rice papers. One is called Peony Love, and the other is Sweet Sunday. So it's kind of hard. I don't know like which is which. These kind of look like peonies, but not sure. But they're both just beautiful. Love the colors in them. So pretty. I'm really drawn to like blues and greens and things like that. So I love the background in this. And then, oh, there's also every month we get a little surprise. So this month we got those little wooden tags you see down in the box. So that's kind of cool too. Although these look like peonies as well. So either or. Both very pretty. And then the milk paint for this month is called Ocean. And that's a gorgeous blue. And then we've got Victorian Lace from Fusion, a really pretty white, and Blue Pine. And I love how Sonnet just correlates all these colors to go really well with the papers. So the DIY paint is Crinoline, and then we have Queen Bee. And yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun getting those little wooden tags in there as a surprise gift. So if you're not familiar, you can go to Sonnet's Garden Blooms. She does have a waiting list for these maker boxes. They come every single month, and these decoupage papers are only found in these boxes. So that's the number one thing I love about it, is you can only get it in the box. So the first project, I have this clock, and I thought, oh, the blue is a little too much for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of disassemble it, take the face off, and then I'm going to paint the frame to kind of match the color in that rice paper there. And I believe I used Fusion's, I think I used Laurentine, which is a limited color in the Fusion line. But yeah, I just took the face apart, and instead of painting the face clock, I'm just going to use that beautiful paper, rice paper, and put a floral part in the middle there.
Headlights on the highway, if you only knew. Being back here always makes me think of you.
When the world is sleeping, do you think of me? With the road it's coming back again, coming back to me.
I remember the long drives, the late nights in your car. I remember it all. Windows down, empty streets, you were all I used to know. You and I, forever, forever ago. And you used to drive me home. Now I drive alone. You and I, forever, forever, forever ago.
So here I'm going to take that rice paper and I'm kind of just tracing out where that inner circle is on the clock face. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush, a thin paintbrush, and water and just kind of trace around that area and then rip the edge, because I just love having a ripped edge instead of a straight edge. It just makes it blend in a lot better, and I think it's just more pleasing to look at, more organic looking. And then the same thing with the straight line. To get rid of that white edge there, I'm going to just kind of take my paintbrush, wet it down, and use my fingernails to kind of just pull it off. And I'm trying to get, instead of this oval, I'm going to get a little bit more of a circular pattern. And the way I do that is I'm going to take those extra pieces that I ripped off and kind of decoupage in those areas just to blend it in a little bit better.
This town's so quiet, this time of year, with the road ahead's coming back again, coming back to me. I remember the long drives, the late nights in your car. I remember it all. Windows down, empty streets, you were all I used to know. You and I, forever, forever ago. And you used to drive me home. Now I drive alone. You and I, forever, forever, forever
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Fusion's Decoupage Transfer Gel, and I'm going to start out with the small pieces that I've kind of created to go around that top part. That way I can gauge where to put the middle piece. I forgot there was a little bit of writing there, so I'm just going to use some of that crinoline to kind of cover that up so that you don't see the writing through the paper. And that seemed to work really well. Just use my heat gun to dry it, and then I will place that lower portion on first and then use the big portion to decoupage last. And that way it'll just kind of lay over the top and blend everything in together.
I feel hard, I feel fast, hoping that my love for you will last forever, forever, forever ago. I feel hard, I feel fast, hoping that my love for you will last forever, forever, forever. Windows down, empty streets, you were all I used
Okay, so then I go ahead and just place the decoupage medium over the entire face of where I put that paper, and that's going to seal it in really well. Because there is a glass face to this clock, I didn't have to do this step, but I just like to do it just to make sure all the edges stay down and it's always laying flat. But look at how beautiful that Laurentine from Fusion works well with that decoupage rice paper. It's so pretty. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to take my little finger sander and lightly distress just the edges of the clock there, and then get some of that wood to show through. And after that's done, the Fusion paint has its own sealer, so I don't need to seal the outside. I'm just going to place the clock back together and it will be complete. Okay, for project 2, we're going to go ahead and use Royce's tapestry decoupage paper. I got this wood piece at I believe the Goodwill bins, and it looks like it's like a Hobby Lobby piece made for DIYers. So I'm just going to take a section of this paper out, and I did want on that paper, you can see some of the writing there. I did want that writing in there. And this one kind of took me a while to figure out what to do. I'm still not sure if I'm done with it yet. But I love this paper for the background. And I'm not sure if I want to add some molds to it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think after you see the final product. And give me some ideas. I like to hear your guys' input. You guys have a lot of good ideas a lot of the time, so it'd be fun to maybe take one of those ideas and use it. So I'm just going to decoupage this down. Now I did start with my Fusion decoupage medium and I ran out, so I had some DIY's liquid patina and I just finished it with that, and it seems to work fine. Everybody has their own decoupage medium that they like, and I like both of them. I do like the Fusion a little bit better because it's more of a kind of a gel consistency. I think I get more control over that, but they both are excellent to work with, so I would recommend either. And I'm going to just do as I always do and do my starter strip on one side and then work my way across. It is easier to, once you get your medium down, you spray or mist the decoupage paper, and that's going to help open the fibers of the paper and make it more flexible to work with. I don't know if I started right away doing that, but I think I ended up doing that. But even if I didn't, it's always a good idea to do that because it does help get the wrinkles out. And a lot of times I use my saran wrap to help push the wrinkles out as well. So with the decoupage papers, you just got to be a little bit more careful not to rub too hard because they can tear. But that's why I kind of prefer rice papers. But with the decoupage, I find that using the saran wrap helps a lot and misting it. So I may end up using more decoupage paper. I believe this is 18-pound paper. And like anything, decoupage paper, the more you work with it, the easier it gets. It just takes practice. And even if you do rip it, I've got a few videos where I've ripped it on camera and I showed you how to repair that. So it's not a big deal if it does rip. It's easily repairable. So after you get that paper on, you always want to go over with another coat of your decoupage medium, and that's going to help seal it in as well as take those air bubbles out. So after that dries, then I went ahead and used my X-Acto knife just to remove the excess paper. And then we're going to go in with an IOD transfer on the side there, on the right hand side. And the name of the transfer is called Redoubt 2. And you'll see in a second, these florals are so pretty. They're so vibrant and they look really good against a dark background, which I thought this tapestry paper was perfect for. So I just cut out some of those roses and I'm just going to put that section of roses right there on the right hand side. And basically that's where I ended up. Sometimes I like more simple projects, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Does it need something more? Like a mold or some more transfers? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. But I do think it's really pretty how it ended up. So I'll kind of read through the comments and see if there's something extra that we can do to this. So this is an antiquing mix that I made. I just want to kind of brighten up that wood just a little bit, give it a little bit more color, and it has antiquing wax from Walmart, a little bit of black paint, and some water. And I've had this jar for quite a long time. I use it quite a bit, but it's just kind of makes the wood look a little bit more aged and kind of ties it all together. I wanted just a little bit, it was a little too gray and it was blending in a little too much with that tapestry paper, so wanted it to pop just a little bit, and this was perfect. So this third project, I found this really cute little recipe box, has a little roll top, and I thought that was just really, really cute. And it even came with recipes. I didn't keep those because it wasn't something that I was interested in, but I thought it was kind of fun. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I am going to use the Fusions Color Blue Pine from the box, the maker's box, and I'm going to just do the outside. I'm not going to do the roll top part. I'm just going to leave that wood. And it did have a little something on the front, a little emblem or something, so I had to sand that down smooth so that it wouldn't show in the paint. But cleaned it up really well, and then I'm just going to go ahead and paint the sides and the front part there. This is a good little tip. If you have a crusty brush, you can use that to get into all those little crevices to get the dust out. I do that first and then I wipe it down. And so it makes it a lot easier to get into those little tiny crevices that you normally can't. It did have this little edge that was falling apart, so I'm going to go in with my Star Bond glue and accelerator and just put a little bit in there and fix it. And that way that little tip won't chip off. So sorry it's out of frame, but basically you put your glue on there, you hold it tight, and then the accelerator you put on, and hold it for 15 seconds and then it's done. It's just a super fast super glue, basically. But it's got a great bonding strength to it. So we're going to go in with that blue pine from Fusion. Gorgeous color. I've used this on some furniture and it sells really well. And I'm just going to give it, I just went actually just one coat is all I gave it. And it has great coverage. So So I had a bag of these extra resin pieces that I did in a class in our shop. So I thought, well, I could put something fun on that little front part, and I found 3 little birds. I'm using the DIY's dark wax, or actually I think it's black wax. Anyway, just kind of putting it into those crevices to bring out those details. Use a shop towel to wipe away the excess. And then what we're going to do is just glue those onto that front little part. I'm going to glue it like as if they're all starting to climb up into the air. So I thought it was kind of fun and gives it a little bit of extra visual. So I always use the Type Bond Quick and Thick glue when I'm doing resin, and it seems to work super well. You do have to let it sit 24 hours to bond, but once it's bonded, it's there. It's there for the long haul. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my painter's tape to keep them in place. A lot of times when you're putting resin on something that's going to be sitting vertically, it will end up slowly going down if you don't tape it into place. So painter's tape is super easy to use, and it doesn't harm your freshly painted surfaces. So I'm just going to do that with all 3 pieces, and basically this little guy is complete. All right, so project 4, I had these little wooden candlesticks from Hobby Lobby, and they're just the easy little DIY ones in the wood part. And I'm going to remove these little gold tops, and I'm going to go ahead and use the Sweet Pickins milk paint that came in the July box called Ocean. It's a gorgeous blue. So anytime you use milk paint, you want to do the same portion of milk paint as water. And so since these are just little candlesticks, I'm only going to be using a couple tablespoons of each, and I'm going to use my little whisk that I got from June's box. Sonnet gave us a whisk, and it helps just mix up that milk paint. And then you want to let it sit for a good 10 minutes to help kind of thicken it up a little bit, and then you can start painting. So when you do milk paint on raw wood like this, you're not going to get as much chipping and crackling as you would with a different surface that's already been painted. So that's what I love. I actually used milk paint on my deck. You can see one in my videos from the past. I used it on my deck because it's actually recommended. It soaks into the wood, and it's there for the long haul. And so this blue is so pretty. I love the fact that in these boxes you would get paints that you normally wouldn't buy. So of course it's drying a little bit lighter, but once I put my sealer on there, it's going to darken back up. So I do want to give it a little bit of distressing, and I have to actually go in and sand it pretty hard because it's so seeped into that wood, which is what it's supposed to do, and that's fine. But yeah, milk paint is unpredictable, especially on a painted surface, and that's the thing I love about it, is you never know what you're really going to get. So just kind of smoothing out the edges, and it does raise up the wood a little bit, so you do want to sand it back smooth. And then Sweet Pickins has its own oil waxes that they prefer to use with these milk paints, and that's just going to seal up that milk paint, bring back that gorgeous color, and it's ready for whatever you need. So with candlesticks like this, I do like to make them into a riser, and a lot of times when I'm out thrifting at the Goodwill bins or anywhere and they have the little coasters, the wooden coasters that you see, I pick those up and I can use them as a riser top for these. So that's what I have. You'll see in a few minutes. And I just flip the coaster over upside down, glue it, and then you have a little top where you can set something fun. And I used the Gorilla Glue, it's a clear glue, to adhere those tops to the candlesticks. So we're going to go in and use Royce's Clock Faces decoupage paper, and we're just going to put a little bit more interest on the top there. That way if you don't want to set anything on there, there's, it's already decorated. So I just cut out some small clock faces. Normally what you'd want to do is paint either the surface or the back of the clock face to help it pop, but that was not my intention for these. I wanted it to look more worn, more aged, and so I just left them the way it was so that you could see some of that wood in the background come through. Makes it a lot more darker, looks like it's been around a lot longer. So I thought it was kind of a cool little piece to do like that, and I did both of them with different clock faces that way, and I think they turned out really cute. Okay, so the last project for today is a piece of wood that I found at the Goodwill bins, or actually my friend gave it to me. She had it in her shop, so it says all sales final. So we're just going to cover that up, and I went ahead and used the Victorian lace from the Fusion line in the July box and just covered that up. I did do, I believe, 2 coats, and then we're just going to use, see here, I'm trying to figure out, is this a decal or is it painted on? And it did have a little bit of a lip, so I think it was just paint. Typically you'd want to sand that off, but since I'm going to do 2 coats of the Fusion paint and then decoupage medium with the rice paper, I think it was fine. But this is so pretty, just screams summer. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm using DIY's liquid patina for the decoupage medium, and because this is such a small piece, I'm not going to worry about doing a starter strip. I'm just going to put the decoupage medium over the entire thing and then place my rice paper on top. So there is a couple extra areas on the sides there that were not quite in the paper, so what we're going to do is we're going to let this dry. I'm using my little saran wrap here to get the air bubbles out. Gonna let it dry, and then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and cut around. I'm going to flip it over and cut around the excess off, and then I'm going to use that excess. I started to paint to try and blend it, but I was like, it's easier just to put the excess on. So in the long run, it turned out really, really good. And again, you always want to do your top coat with medium. That way it seals in the decoupage paper and helps get out any of the extra air bubbles underneath there. And so I wanted to thank you all. I don't know if you saw my post, but we just got back from our family vacation. Every year we go on a big vacation with my husband's side of the family. And this year we decided to go, it was a little bit south of Bend, Oregon. And we all rented an Airbnb log cabin on the Deschutes River and went floating and did some fishing. Didn't catch anything, but that's okay. I was trying to teach my 9-year-old daughter how to fish, so she thought that was pretty cool. And so just want to thank you for understanding that I didn't get a couple videos out, but I am refreshed and back and ready to work. So we're going to start pumping out some more videos and get some more content out to you guys. And I hope you all are enjoying your summer. It was super hot. I thought going to Oregon I would get away from the heat of Spokane, but it was still in the high 90s. There was even some fires nearby, so hope everybody's safe over there. And come back home, and we're right back up into the hundreds. So it's a good time to stay inside and get some projects done. So you can see here I'm using my little X-Acto knife, and I have a little cutting mat. And this is going to get the majority of that paper off. And then I did end up going back over after it was sealed and dried completely. I went back over with my little finger sander in a downward motion and just got the rest of the paper off of there. So that always works really well. And I thought, well, of course it needs a little bit something more. So I did take one of those little wooden tags that came in the box, and I used Fusion's color Peony. It's a really pretty light pink. Thought it matched really well with the florals inside. And then I'm going to take just a little IOD transfer of a butterfly and place it on that tag and just hang it from there. Again, I could take some ideas if you guys have anything I should do extra to that, but not sure. It turned out cute, but I don't like a whole lot of like big bows or anything. So I don't know if there's something else that we can put on the top, but anyway, so I took the Entomology, etc. IOD transfer and found a really pretty blue butterfly that matched that paper really well, and just use some jute twine to attach it back into that top hole, and it's just kind of hanging there. So we'll see if I add anything to it, but sometimes, like I said, simple is better. And let me know what you guys think. Out of these 5 projects, I think my favorite is the clock. And I just love this rice paper for July's box this month, and it just turned out really, really pretty. So let me know what your guys' favorite is, and I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will be back on Tuesday with another flip video for you. Take care, y'all. Bye.